Coach Hayden. Do you want to do opening comment or go straight to questions?
We can go questions.
Okay, we're ready for Coach Calipari. We will take your questions. If you would, raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you. And again, please identify your name and affiliation, and we'll start right here in the middle, and then we'll go to you.
Hey, John, Jordan Hill with Dogs 247. I want to ask you about Mike White. He's getting settled in Athens. Having coached against him over the years, just what do you feel like he is going to bring to the Georgia basketball program?
First of all, he's a terrific coach. His teams will compete. They're smart. All the stuff that you want in a coach, and he's a terrific person. He'll be involved in that community. He recruits with the best of them. He's good. He's good, and in the league, you have guys that you just enjoy being around, and he's one of them for me.
Right here up front.
Anna Tarullo with BBN tonight. With transfers and freshmen coming in, where do you think the biggest development has been made on your team in the offseason?
Well, we have more veterans than I've had in a long time, and those veterans are speeding up practice like we're doing more than we normally would do in the first couple weeks because we've been there. Plus the Bahamas, that trip helped us. But our young kids are good. I mean, Antonio's playing good. Kaysen and Chris and even the young players are playing good. But we have a veteran team. Jacob was supposed to be here. He got hurt yesterday in practice. Nothing crazy, but I just said stay back. Oscar had a procedure that, he's walking around, is not swelled already, but he's not human. He's a little different than the rest of us. So, and then Lance had a muscle pull. He'd been out. So yesterday we had 7 practice. So we had managers, walk-ons, and a coach on the floor with us. So hard to get better that way, but sometimes that stuff happens.
Right here.
What is your sense for, you expect to maybe hold Oscar out for the exhibitions? Do you think he'll be ready for the actual opener?
To be honest, I can't tell you because when I saw him yesterday, I just bust out laughing. Like, you're supposed to be swelled. You're supposed to be on crutches for a week. He's walking around, showing, look, I'm fine, and I got no swelling. And so I just don't know. Now, you know me well enough. I'll keep him out longer than he probably should. But, he's pretty resilient. We'll see. He won't do anything this weekend when we're in Pikeville.
Right here. Second row.
Ben Roberts, Lexington Herald Leader. The Indiana series has come back up this summer. What's the status on that, and are you open to home courts again?
Well, it's we've agreed in principle that we'll be playing them. It'll start in 25-26, but it's at the administrative level now, so all the details will be worked out. But it is. It's good for our season ticket holders to know, like next year is Gonzaga and Michigan. The following year, you got Louisville and one of the challenges. And then you got the next year, you got the game. So I kind of like that we're going out so they'll all know here are the games we're playing. Now, the issue with it is scheduling is fun and easy. Then you got to play the games. So when you start talking Gonzaga, when you start talking the teams in the CBS Classic, the teams in the challenge we play this year, I think we're playing Michigan State, but it's also Kansas and it's also Duke. The challenge within the Big 12, I'm kind of surprised that we're playing Kansas again. So all of a sudden you got all these games, Louisville every year. Kenny's going to do a great job. But this will put us out 5 or 6 years. You'll know what it is. The crazy thing is our league has gotten so much better. I mean, Tennessee this will be one of Rick's, in my opinion, and I haven't seen him play, but I know him and I know the personnel, one of his better teams. You know what's happening at Arkansas, the job they're doing, the job at Auburn, and, you know, Alabama playing the way they play, which is a little different, you know. So we got a bunch of teams. We got new guys that have good teams that are coming in. So did I miss somebody? In case I did. Who? Is there another team I missed? So, but you got top 15 teams in this league now. So where you get in your league, you're going to play 7, 6 ranked teams. Now you go add 3 or 4 more, all of a sudden, you know, you better stay away from injury.
Right here up front.
Hey, good morning, Coach. AP Stedham, WHEP. Coach, why did you select these 2 players to bring here to Birmingham today? And do you welcome Oklahoma and Texas in the future?
Well, the 2 guys were because we had a lot of guys beat up, and Severe was coming, and then it was Oscar, and then it was Jacob, and then it was Lance. And to be honest with you, I know you know these kids absolutely all want to come here. So when you say, we need someone else, they're all ducking like, I'm out, I got a class, I got studying, I said, look, we got to take 2 with us. You're coming and you're coming. And that's where I imagine the other coaches are probably, look, the 2 guys that drew the short straws are in the back. But so they, the Texas-Oklahoma is going to be good. You know, I'm going to shift a little bit and with name, image, and likeness. You know, I have one concern. You know, I've been for this for how many years? You all know I've been saying it. They should own their autograph. They should own their picture. They should own their name. It's theirs. So I've been for this for a long time. Now we're into how do we do this? We cannot damage the Olympic sports. We cannot do that as a solution. In other words, I'm hearing, well, you'll have 8 sports. No, they tell me, well, you prepare your kids for life after. You're teaching them adversity. You're teaching them about celebrating each other, teamwork. You're teaching them about conflict resolution and how to respect each other, how to be involved and create joy and all. Well, do you think I'm the only coach doing that? You don't think the track coach is doing that? You don't think the softball coach is doing that? We're all doing the same. And the kids that have a chance to go through an athletic experience are going to have more success. They just are. I'm not saying anything else is a disadvantage, but I'm telling you, we can't take it away. The second thing I'll tell you with Olympic sports, real simple. Olympics. Like, we've had, our track program has prepared for the Olympic team stars that have won medals. Basketball, the same. So we need to make sure whatever we do is done thoughtfully and not just for one program or 2 this is going to have 18 affected.
Very back.
Hey, John, Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrats. I had a 2-parter if that's okay. You mentioned Arkansas. Eric.
Why do you always talk about Arkansas? But go ahead.
Well, why do you always talk about Kentucky? You know, Arkansas had never signed 3 McDonald's All-Americans in 1 year until Eric did it. You're obviously familiar with those guys. It kind of looks like one of your classes. And then what do you think about all the coaching turnover? 6 new coaches. Mike White moves within the league. It's kind of the way football has been, but now it's going over to basketball too.
All right, so tell me the first one. You said something about All-Americans. I don't listen normally,
okay.
but go ahead.
Our first time Arkansas has ever signed 3 McDonald's All-Americans, you know, Nick Smith, Jordan Walsh, and Anthony Black. I wonder what you think about Eric doing that and kind of what you think of those players and what they can do for the program.
Well, you just got to win every game and it'll work out fine, you know, but he'll do fine. I saw Eric when he coached in the NBA. He was with Golden State, and I walked in Philadelphia and told him he did a heck of a job with the team, and he was young then. And I respect him, and he'll do fine. What was the other question?
6 new coaches in the league. You're by far the senior coach. Now, what do you think
No,
about
no,
that?
I'm not.
What-
No,
what-
don't say that.
Okay, what-
Not by far.
Well, what do you think about all the coaching turnover? And Mike, moved within the league, and that's used to be common in football, but now it's happening in basketball. What do you think that says about the league?
Well, the league, I can remember those first 5 or 6 years I was here. It was like trying to get 3 teams in was a fight. And I can remember saying probably 5 years ago, we're moving to where we can get 6 and 7 in the league. And we've come to that, maybe 8 or 9 now. And what's happened is the TV network, which has helped all the sports, not just football and basketball. It's helped all the sports, but it's also generated financial support for the programs, and many of the teams in our league invested in basketball. They invested in facilities, they invested in coaching salaries, they invested in travel, in recruiting budgets, and you won't believe this, that changes things. And I know they get mad when I say coaches win games, administrators win championships. What's your investment? What are you willing to do? What do you want us to do? Now, the problem is when they really invest, you got to win. Not everybody's going to win. And if you don't win, you get a lot of change. But that's part of it. So there's been great investment in basketball. And what that, like I always say, be careful what you wish for sometimes. Because it now just changed things. Now you were under the radar, you were fine. Now all of a sudden, no, you're in the same boat as all of us now. So, but for me as a coach, like knowing who we got to play this year and how good their teams are, how solid their programs are, how invested the universities and the athletic departments are in those programs, the level of talent. Like you can't say, well, Cal, you got all the guys, you should win. What are you talking about? We got really good players, but so does everybody else now.
Coach Richard Hendricks, Crimson Tide Sports Network. You have Oscar Sheway returning to Kentucky as the unanimous National Player of the Year. He elected to come back to school, but should the
I'm
NBA...
trying to get him to come back next year too, but go ahead.
Should the NBA have a higher demand for more seasoned players who dominate the college game?
Well, the issue became where was he projected to be drafted? And that's part of the reason. And NIL, which I've said to all you guys, the NIL will keep kids in school that would have left. That's what's happened in men's basketball. So with him, if that didn't happen, he would have gone. If he would have been drafted or projected in a better position, he'd have been gone. Now it's our chance for him to say, all right, you came back, you got to be better. As a basketball player, we know you rebound. We know you got to be able to guard multiple positions. You got to be able to pass and dribble. You got to be a better basketball player. And we had pro day, and everyone left saying he's way better than he was. Like he's way better as a player than he was. And that's why you come back. Or you ready? You don't come back. You're coming back for a redo. You shouldn't come back.
Scotty Bordelon, Whole Hog Sports in Arkansas. Kentucky and Arkansas this year playing twice in the regular season for the first time in nearly a decade. You think that's how that...
I voted against that too, by the way, but go ahead.
Okay, well, that kind of answers my question. Do you think is that good for the league? Do you think that's how that series should be moving forward?
No, they want to do it in a rotation, so it won't. And when you add 2 more teams, unless you do 2 sides, which never works, but it's good for both programs. It's great for our league. And, it's changed because I don't know if you all know that RPI, if you remember it, may it rest in peace, it mattered what the other team's record was and how good or bad they were. It mattered. With this new net, it doesn't matter as much. So you play somebody that's not quite as good, or they're at the bottom of our league, even though they're good, it doesn't affect you in a bad way now. And playing the better teams is probably better for you, but it's not the same. So, it's whatever they choose to do in our league, I'm fine with.
Very back, right?
Coach, over here. John Zeno with Associated Press. I mean, it's no secret you guys have always been judged by how deep you go in the NCAA tournament. But as a league, the league's had so much success lately. Does the standard need to be changed there a little bit? Not just how many teams, but how many advance and how deep? Because there were some early exits last year.
Who?
Auburn, Alabama.
Who?
There's several.
Well, you can say it. St. Peter's beat us. I mean, you
Yeah.
say it. It happened. So let me. First of all, I really didn't think someone would ask me the question about St. Peter's, but let me say this: they were like my UMass teams. They were undersized, tough as nails, skilled, had a coach that had a swagger. Shaheen did an unbelievable job. They beat us in overtime. We had a heck of a year last year. I thought we kind of maxed out. We got injured at the end, lose to them in overtime. And basically, for me as a coach, dealing with it, because my teams usually would advance and hadn't been, but I had to worry about my own team for mental health and not going in dark places and meeting, sitting and hugging. And I mean, that was ridiculously hard for our guys because we did have a good year. We had a bad finish. I would say we're all judged by how you do in that tournament. I'll give you an example. We went to Kansas and beat them pretty good. And they won the whole thing. And we were like, what's happened? This is crazy. Attack me, attack my kids and all this. It's a one-game shot. I wish it was best of 3. Can we change it? But it's not best of 3. It's a one-game shot. So, yes, we will be judged. But let me tell you, to get 7, 8 teams in, you're judged for your year. And we need to keep getting 6 and 7 teams and 8 teams in this thing, 9 teams when we add some other people. And then we got to figure out, how do we do that? How do we not just beat each other up? How do you not put a schedule together where you add Gonzaga and Indiana and you got Michigan and all the teams we're playing, I guess. The other side of it is, if you play those teams, does it better prepare you to advance in the NCAA tournament? My teams have always played hard schedules. In a normal situation, it helps. Sometimes you have an injury or two like we did, and it kind of screws up your plans. Did that answer your question? No, that's okay.
Very back.
Brian Milam, WKYT, Lexington. Biggest improvements made by Jacob and Oscar, or what?
Well, Jacob, we have a machine, it's called the Noah machine in our gym over top of the baskets. So when guys come in to shoot, it has face recognition, and they get in there and shoot on their own or with the manager, and you count the number of shots that they take. So Jacob leads the team. He had 2,800 shots. And how many? Was it a month or 3 weeks, or what was it? When they 3 weeks? So he had 2,800 shots in 3 weeks. He is living in the gym. Every player that I've ever coached that lives in the gym had breakthroughs. They had breakthroughs. So now we're trying to get him to more car crash. You know what the car crash is. You drive, you create the car crash. You're not getting T-boned, you're T-boning that dude. And, you know, when he does that, what happens? He plays really good, but what else, Severe? Gets hurt, he grabs his shoulder, his knee, and all that. So he got to get through all that to say, yes, I'm shooting the ball way better, I'm handling better, I'm more confident, but I'm not playing on the perimeter. I'm going to drive this thing and be in some car crashes. He jumps, how many inches did he jump? 40, what was it? 45 inches. Well, go in there, jump 45 inches. So he's doing great. He's defending, he's talking, he's grown up. He's gone from 13 years old to probably 16 now, maybe 17. He's matured. So, and I'm proud of him. I get on him now. I'm holding him to a high standard because he's here and I'm seeing this. Like, why not be that guy? Why not? Why settle for making some jumpers, or I can make a 3 now? So go be that other guy that dominates our league. Oscar, you ask me about, he's a better passer, he's a better dribbler, he has a better feel. He talks offensively, he knows the plays better. I don't think that Severe picking up full court will get smashed now because he knows to go up there and yell and do stuff. And he's authentic, fellas. He is who he is. Like, I'm a sinner. I know I'm a sinner. But when I'm around him, I really feel like a sinner. Because this kid is who he is every day. Like it or don't like it, this is him authentically. And we went to the Bahamas. He was our 5th leading scorer. He's player of the year, unanimously for the first time in a decade. He took the 5th most shots on our team and cheered his teammates. Cheered. They made a 3. He's putting up 3 fingers. He's hugging guys. That's who he is. He wants to win. Here's the other thing he said. I think was in an article, and I can't remember. The article basically, all these trophies I have my name on it. All these over here, there's like 10 of them with his name on it. I want to win one where all our names are on it and we could talk about it. That's who he is. And he really does. He says it and you're thinking, yeah, okay. That's who he is.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thanks.